Well, hi, hello, my dear students. Welcome to my video lecture class. Right up to now, I uploaded video lectures on the topic collision. In this topic, I already discussed elastic collision, inelastic collision, perfectly inelastic collision, coefficient of restitution, and importance of coefficient of restitution. I discussed. Today, I am going to discuss some application related with the coefficient of restitution. This is very important application related with coefficient of restitution. Please watch the lecture till the end. Definitely you will get new points regarding this coefficient of restitution. So now let's begin our topic. Applications of coefficient of restitution. Applications of coefficient of restitution. Let us consider a ball which is freely falling to the ground, freely falling to the ground, to freely falling to the ground, covered height h, covered height h, and again rebounces with height h1, rebounces height h1. This process is continuous. This process is continuous. Okay, so now I'll represent in. So this is a ground. Here is a ball. So here is the ball. It covered distance is h, and it covered in time t. It covered in time t. So after hit this ball and rebouncing to height, rebouncing to height h1 and time t1, and again rebounces height h2 in time t2, and again rebounces like this hen and tn. So like this it is going to be rebouncing. So now Hn is equal to, formula here, Hn is equal to e power 2n into h, e power 2n into h. This is a formula. Hn is equal to e power 2n into h. For height h1 is equal to e power 2 into 1 into h. That means h1 is equal to e square into h. Then e is equal to square root of h1 by h. E is equal to square root of h1 by h. Okay, so this is very important formula. This is very important formula. Hn is equal to e power 2n into h. So that means your coefficient of restitution E is equal to square root of h1 by h, and that is h2 by h1, and that is equal to h3 by h2. So like this, and so on, hn by hn minus 1. Okay, so like this it is going to be continuous. Okay, so finally we got hn by hn minus 1. So this is about height h and coefficient of restitution relation, and time here and velocity relation. So now velocity and coefficient of distribution relation. So let us consider, if I consider this is h1, so now I consider as here velocity v, it covered velocity v, and here it covered velocity is v1, and here it rebounces velocity is v2, and this is a velocity v1 vn. So now vn is equal to e power n into v. Vn is equal to e power n into v. That means v1 is equal to e power 1. That means e power e into v. So v2 is equal to e square into v. v3 is equal to e cube into v. Okay, e cube into v. So this is very important. E is equal to square root of v1 by v and v2 by v, v1, and so on vn by vn minus 1. Okay, so this is a v value here, relation between velocity and coefficient of restitution. Okay, next. So if I consider here, so this is a height h, and this covered is height h1, this covered is height h2, this covered is height, so this height is hn, I consider. Is it or not? So from this, total distance traveled by a ball before it stops bouncing. So that is indicated with the d, total distance. D is equal to h plus, first it covered distance is h. Here once hit and rebounces is, here rebounds is h1 and again it hits the h1. So observe carefully. Once it falls, height is h. It rebounds as height is h1 and again it falls, height is h1. Like this it is going to be. First it is going to be fall like this and again it rebounds as fall like this it is going to be. So here it is a h and it is h1 and again it h1 and h2, h2, h3, h3 like this. So that means we can add here 2h1, 2h2, 2h3 and so on 2hn. Okay, so like this it is going to be. Okay, so it's going to be and so on. So for this one, h means already you know. So we had a formula, hn is equal to e power 2n into h. This is a term. hn is equal to e power 2n into h. So from this h is equal to h only. 2 into h1 means e square into h. h2 means e power so h2 means e power 4 into h. 2 into e power 6 into h, e power 6 into h and so on like this. So this is a d. So from this h plus 2 e square h commutated 1 plus e square plus e cube plus and so on. So e square, this is e power 6, okay, and so on like this we got. So here, so from binomial expansion, from binomial expansion, d is equal to, we got h into 1 plus e square by 1 minus e square. Okay, from binomial expansion, d is equal to, we got h into 1 plus e square by 1 minus e square. We got a total distance traveled by ball before it stops bouncing. Now we are going to find total time traveled by, time taken by ball before it stops bouncing. Total time taken by ball. Have you understood or not? Here why we are taking h1 h plus 2h1? First initially falling and it bouncing, and again it bouncing, fall. So it is continuous process. That's why we are taking h plus 2h1 plus 2h2 plus and so on 2h3 like this. And again total time covered by ball before stop bouncing, that is indicated with a t. So that means that t is equal to total time, t is equal to, we consider as a t plus 2t1 plus 2t2 plus 2t3 plus and so on. Okay, so we got like this. So from here t means root 2h by g, and here 2 into root 2h1 by g, and 2 into root 2h2 by g. So here we consider as time t1, t2, t3, tn. In t, height h covered, right? That's why we are taking 2h by g. In t1, height h1 is covered, that's why 2h1 by g we consider. So like this we consider. So finally we got, so from this root 2h by g is common it, we got here 1 plus e by 1 minus e. So finally we got total time 1 plus e by 1 minus e. Okay, so this is total time covered by ball before it stops bouncing, that is t is equal to square root of 2h by g into 1 plus e by 1 minus e. Okay, so this is a very important formula. Next we'll discuss momentum change, linear momentum change for first bouncing. Momentum change for first bouncing. For first bounce. So here initially this is a fall like this, and it is going to be a rise like this, is it or not? So here initially ball is fall in this direction and hit this here, and it rises in this direction. Okay, so it's going to be rises in this direction, falls like this direction, and it's going to be rises in this direction. This is falls and bounce. Okay, bounce. So falls, it is a falls with mass m1. Here falls with mass is m only, and velocity is v, and it bounce with mass m only, and velocity is v1. So that means here momentum change before first bounce, for first bounce is equal to initial momentum, final momentum minus initial momentum. So that is equal to delta p. Momentum change delta p is equal to final momentum is. So here I'll consider if it is moving like this upward j cap, it is moving downwards, that is minus j cap. So if it is moving like in this direction I cap, in this direction we are taking minus I cap. So in the first case, so final momentum means m into v1 into, so j cap. So v1 into m into v1 into j cap upward, minus initial momentum m into v into, okay, so this is a minus j cap because it is downwards, m into v into minus j cap, downward. So from this m is taken as common, so mv1 j cap and minus of minus plus mv j cap. So from this m common it v plus v1 into j cap. Okay, so this is a delta P bar, Pf bar minus Pi bar. Delta P bar we got. Magnitude, 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 delta P bar, magnitude we got m into v plus v, m into v plus v1. Magnitude of momentum is m into v plus v1. So this is very important. Momentum change for first bounce. So similarly we need to find momentum change for second bounce. Similarly we need to find for momentum change for nth bounce. So this is a very important application when a ball is freely falling from certain height and it covers, it hits the ground and again it rebounces. So this process is continuous before it stop bouncing. Okay, so we need to find here velocity, height, time, relation with coefficient of restitution. So next, average speed and average velocity. So this is very important. Okay, next, so like this momentum change we need to find here. Average speed in this process, average speed is equal to total distance by total time. Total distance is equal to d and total time is equal to t, and the total distance already we got h into 1 plus e square by 1 minus e square. Okay, so this is the total distance. Total time already we got, total time is that is so right here, d is equal to h into 1 plus e square by 1 minus e square. Total time, so total time is we got root that is root 2h by g into 1 plus e by 1 minus e. Okay, so this is average speed formula. Next, average velocity. Okay, average velocity. Average velocity. Average velocity is equal to total displacement by total time taken. So total displacement is we covered, that is we got h. Total time is nothing but here. Total time is nothing but here we have taken total time root 2h by g into 1 plus e by 1 minus e. So this is average velocity. Okay, average velocity for total path covered. Okay, so this is about applications of coefficient of restitution. Okay, so next we'll discuss oblique collision. Right, so now we discuss oblique collision. So this is also called as a two-dimensional collision. So before collision, so what is the definition for, first of all, oblique collision? The collision in which the particles or bodies moves in a plane before and after the collision. after the collision, moves in a plane before and after the collision at different angles, so this is very important. In collision, the collision in which the particles or bodies moves in a plane before and after the collision. So before collision, particles moves in a plane. After the collision, particles moves in plane. That means particles moves in 2 dimension. That's why this collision is called two-dimensional collision or oblique collision. So here, I'll consider this is a body. Okay. So this is going to be moving with velocity at an angle theta1 with initial velocity u1 bar. So this is mass m1, and I'll consider as a mass m2. So it makes an angle theta2. It is moving with velocity u2 bar. Okay. So this is before collision. So after collision, so m1 after collision, it is going to be moving with velocity v1 bar. It makes an angle beta1. So and next, it's going to be moving with an angle beta2. It moving with velocity v2 bar. This is after collision. So before collision, after collision it was. Next. So here we need to apply, the main concept is we need to apply from in any type of collision, momentum is always conserved. Any type of collision you consider, momentum is always conserved. So here momentum is conserved. So that means so now momentum is conserved along x-axis. Here definitely it is split into two components. Is it or not? One is u1 cos theta, and another one is along y-axis u1 sin theta. So this is along u2 cos theta. This is theta 1. This is theta 1. u2 cos theta 2, and it made angle. It made u2 sin theta 2. And similarly here also it made angles. That is nothing but v1 cos beta 1, and here v1 sin beta 1, and here also it made angle v2 cos beta 2, and here v2 sin beta 2. So like this it is going to be formed. So after collision, so momentum conserved along x-axis. Along x-axis is nothing but m1 u1 cos theta 1 plus m2 u2 cos theta 2 is equal to m1 v1 cos beta 1 plus m2 v2 sin cos beta 2. So these are the momentum. Okay, so these are the momentum we got here, momentum conservation. Okay, so next, momentum conserved along y-axis. Momentum conserved along y-axis. So momentum conserved along y-axis is m1 u1 sin theta 1 m2 u2 sin theta 2 is equal to m1 v1 sin beta 1 m2 v2 sin beta 2. So this is momentum conserved along y-axis. This is very important. So here body moves in two dimensions. That's why we consider here both the x-axis and y-axis. So that's why this collision is a two-dimensional collision. Body moves in here both x-axis and y-axis. Now coefficient of restitution. Coefficient of restitution. How we apply coefficient of restitution here? Next we apply here coefficient of restitution. So here we apply coefficient of restitution. So coefficient of restitution E is equal to, okay, so relative velocity of separation after collision. Next, relative velocity of approach, before collision. Relative velocity of approach before collision. So from this, relative velocity of separation after collision is nothing but here V2 bar minus V1 bar by U1 bar minus U2 bar. So from this V2 bar minus V1 bar by U1 bar minus U2 bar. So from this we got V2. In x direction we consider as V2 is equal to, in x direction. So observe carefully, what is in x direction? We got V2 cos beta 2 minus V1 cos beta 1. V2 cos beta 2 minus V1 cos beta 1 by, so in x direction that is U1 cos theta 1 minus U2 cos theta 2. So this is coefficient of restitution formula here. So this is coefficient of restitution formula in oblique collision or two-dimensional collision. So right, this is about the chapter collision. I hope you are all are understood this lectures and you are enjoyed this lectures. While watching this lecture, if you will get any doubt, feel free to mention in comment box. Thank you for watching my lectures. Thank you for encouraging me. Thank you for your support. Thank you so much.